And so it's just a wonderful time in our history, and the call is just going forth for us to raise our consciousness, going forth like never before. The opportunity to raise our consciousness, in the all presence of love and joy and peace, with all of its omnipotent power, is everywhere in all places. And with this great call which we're having to raise our consciousness to see it, and more and more people responding to that call that is going forth, we're just going to see marvelous things happening. And I'm just so excited about that. I'm just so excited this morning. And just every day it just becomes a new thrill, a new excitement, because every day I find one more person, at least if not 100 more, that are lifting their consciousness and raising their awareness. And I find one more marvelous truth. I hear these, listen to Tanya Love program every morning with breakfast, and every time she comes up with one more exciting idea, one more truth to help lift our consciousness. And so every day you get up, you should be looking forward to one more of those truths that will lift your consciousness. You should be actively seeking to raise your consciousness, because there's marvelous things to see with that raised consciousness that you'll be missing out on if you're not actively raising that consciousness. And so let's just make it a rule in our life, to make it a goal in our life, that every day we will spend about 20 minutes just listening to Infinite Mind and attempting to raise our consciousness, and then spend a few minutes every day listening to good programs like Tanya Love and other programs like that, Esther and Jerry Hicks, and people that will raise your consciousness, and just spend time doing that. And as you do that, you'll begin to see that this is a very marvelous world which we live in, and a very marvelous universe, and that marvelous things are coming down. But we need to begin to be grateful for the opportunities we have. Be grateful for YouTube, and that it is bringing these great thoughts to you from these great people like Tanya Love and Esther and Jerry Hicks and others. Just spend time becoming over abundantly joyful and ecstatic about the fact that you have that opportunity to receive these things. It has not always been there, and so the dearth and the drought that has been upon this world, for lack of good being able to receive wonderful thoughts like this, is being it's being changed now. The rain is coming. The raining down of truth, and the raining down of ability to lift our people with lifted consciousness coming to us and bringing blessings to us and bringing awareness to us, and these wonderful truths, they're just raining down upon us. And as our consciousness begin to lift up to it, we'll just begin to expand, and we'll begin to just become more and more thrilled and excited about it, and we'll begin to flower out just like the flowers in the trees do. And so I am just excited about that. And I've got my wonderful breakfast that just fixed just exactly right this morning, and I'm going to just really enjoy that as I listen to Tanya Love program, along with all these wonderful thoughts which I've been thinking. It just makes me enjoy my breakfast so much more, and I'm just going to have a wonderful time with my breakfast this morning, and my eggs and pancakes and all, and I've got so much marvelous coffee here, and I'm going to just have myself a cup of this Columbia roast this morning, and enjoy the lifted awareness that I'm doing, and enjoy what Tanya Love is saying, and just enjoy life. You just got to make it a point to enjoy life. Don't just say, well, tomorrow, the next day, I'm going to prepare to enjoy life in the future. Just make it a now thing, that I will enjoy my life and I will get ecstatic and exhilarated right now. Practice it if you have to practice it, but you won't have to practice it if you'll listen to enough good programs like these programs here, Tanya Love and others, and you won't have to practice it. It'll get natural. It'll start coming natural to you as you begin to listen. And I've got these little, but I've got these little K cups here that has this sealed in coffee that you put in your little brew cup maker. And oh, it just has such a marvelous flavor. They trap the flavor in there to where it can't escape. It's not like when you have a can of coffee there and every day when you open it up, well, then you let a little bit of the freshness out, and then you dip out. When you dip it out to put it up into your filter, well, a little bit of the freshness goes out, and as you put the filter over into the coffee maker, well, a little bit more of the freshness goes out, and so you lose some of the freshness. This freshness is trapped in here, and it doesn't go out. It doesn't. This vacuum seal does not leak any of the freshness out until the water is. You've got the water in your into your brew cup maker, your brew cup coffee maker, and then as it punches the hole, the water rushes through, it gets vacuum sealed up here, and it just rushes right through, and it goes right directly into your cup, and it's just all that freshness is preserved, and every day that I drank that coffee, it has that same wonderful freshness. It doesn't change. There's not one day, as you can see, there's a clear glass here, and it's just there's nothing to be stained up, no metal or any other kind of thing to be, or no insides where the water goes, no water reservoir or anything that is not completely seen, invisible, so that you don't get any kind of a you don't get any kind of coffee residue in there. It's just easy to wipe clean each time, and so you have nothing to make the coffee taste different. You're not going to drink it one morning and it'll be bitter because you didn't quite get your coffee maker cleaned enough. And then the next day it'll taste right, and then the next day though it'll be a different strength. It'll be too weak one day or too strong the next day. It's going to be exactly the right mixture every time because they have got it measured out exactly right in this cup, and your water is measured out exactly right. And so every day it's exactly, and so you know exactly what to look forward to, and then you can just get thrilled about it because you know exactly what it's going to have, that same marvelous taste every time. And so I mean, even though I know that, it always still surprises me because I've drank so much coffee in the past and had all kinds of bitter coffee and all kinds of coffee from all kinds of coffee makers, and so I still can never believe it when I first taste it, even though I know a wonderful taste is coming. I can't believe that that's actually coffee actually tastes that good because I've tasted much of the other kind in the past. But anyway, I'm going to get Tanya Love started so she can excite me some more and give me some wonderful thoughts. I wouldn't want my consciousness to slow down in its ascension, and so get her on, and she can continue the ascension and continue the lifted awareness and get me a little bit more joyful if that's possible. And sometimes I don't understand. We don't really feel like we can even get any more joyful, but boy, we find out we can. And so I need to get her going, and then I'm going to get this marvelous coffee going, eat my breakfast. Okay, let me turn this where she can. Let's get her.
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
And welcome to the Tanya Love Show. Today, we are going to actually be talking about a really important topic that's been kind of coming up the last couple of weeks. I've been observing some clients going through this, and just something that just came to me very clearly that would be really good to address, which the title I got during meditation, the phrase that was spoken to me was chasing nirvana. And so what I was basically wanting to tap into is how, maybe each of us can address ways where are we really being authentic? Are we living our life's truth? Or are we in some aspect chasing some sense of spiritual salvation? Just as much as we've talked about on past shows, how ego is all about chasing down something outside of ourselves. We want to chase down, maybe a title, a role, a position, a sense of status. We think something's superior, something else is inferior. and how that chasing can actually be really exhausting to us and often can lead us very much off the path of our soul's highest alignment and our highest joy. And so the topic that I felt was really important to address is about chasing nirvana, and how some of us are seeking some sort of salvation through external factors, or even if it's an internal way, but we're not really in our alignment. We're not really allowing things to flow naturally and from love, but we're trying to chase down something. We're trying to attain spiritual enlightenment. We need to ascend faster than somebody else, or we're competing and comparing to someone that we see as a leader or a healer in our community. Maybe we're competing with them, or maybe we're comparing with them and comparing ourselves to them in a way that's actually creating suffering and is causing us to ultimately get off the path of alignment. And, I think I've talked about different films that we can make references to of this awareness. But one of the films that I talked about a while back was 7 Years in Tibet, and how Brad Pitt was training. For a while, he befriends the Dalai Lama, and the Dalai Lama, he realizes when he's in his presence, he feels really at ease, and he feels he can just be himself, and he feels comfortable. But most of his life, he's trying to attain something. He's trying to be better than somebody else, competing, comparing. And ultimately, we can tell we're in ego mode no matter what we're doing. If we're suffering or we're causing suffering for another, it's something that we are competing or comparing. And one of the things that we have to be mindful of is if others are doing this to us, if others are projecting competition or they're comparing to us, it's nothing that we can really control. We can't make them stop comparing or competing, but we can make sure that we stay in our alignment and we don't participate in that. And that way we can hold space for them. We can speak truth to them about what they're doing, but not be pulled into that misalignment with them and not get triggered from it. And today, I had a client from the past that I've worked with, and she's come to a lot of events and different things where I consider her a soul sister. And I haven't seen her in a while, and she recently connected with me. We had a chat for a while, and she was sharing a lot of what she's been learning on her journey and how she's been really looking into some of her own behavior, some of her own ego, places that she has powerful opportunity to heal, and how uncomfortable that can be. And I feel like it was such a beautiful, honorable truth that she shared, and how vulnerable it was to speak that truth that, this is somewhere I've struggled, and this is something I see in myself that I know I need to shift. And it's really uncomfortable, but I'm ready to face it and I'm ready to heal it. And one of the things I was talking, I think last week or the week before, I was talking about how, and I think a few months ago, because this interestingly has been continuing, and I'm really in my own life movie looking into why is this continuing. But recently and a few months ago, I had some healers in the community come towards me, try to attach to me, say that they sensed they could get some kind of benefit from doing a healing with me, but then kind of deceived me with the intention of how they wanted to work together, and then it really ended up being about an agenda on their side to self-serve. And when I called them out on it and said, I'm not a part of that, and I'm not going to be used like that, I wouldn't allow them to control my energy, suddenly I'm the outcast. And I've had recently, I say this publicly because I will exactly not be bullied by people's misalignment. You may choose this. I kind of talked to my group last night. We were talking about clairvoyancy and empowering ourselves as empaths. And a lot of the women can relate to this in their own way of how they've been bullied at some time in their life. When they spoke truth, they challenged someone who was out of alignment. And to me, I kind of joke and say it's very high school, like when you're in high school and maybe you don't want to do all the things the popular kids do, and you just really are comfortable being who you are, and they heckle you, throw your backpack, they treat you crappy, they make fun of you, call you names, whatever. And what's kind of sad to me is that this happens so much in society, and I feel like it's worth addressing. And this need to, like when I say chasing nirvana, what I've observed is there's healers, there's spiritual beings who are students